All right, we are live now. All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Juwan Rohan. This is the Misguided Podcast, where we intend to guide you to a better future. I'm sitting here with Dave Manson, aka Coach.
How you doing, Juwan?
I'm living. I'm feeling great actually after a couple of days of waiting patiently to hear the results. But I'm doing great. How's everything over there?
Same here. Same for the same exact reason.
Yeah, right. It's like a weight lifted off your shoulder a little bit. But you're out in Idaho. I just found that out yesterday. So
It's cold out here.
no, what's the weather like?
Man, we just got our first frost out here today, so I had to come out and scrape ice off my car this morning before I
Oh
came over.
wow. Oh yeah. It's been a while since you did that, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. So pretty much we're gonna go ahead and dive into what you do exactly. You are executive director of the What If Foundation. Can you kind of dive into that?
I will, but I want to just start by saying how excited I am about what all you have going on in your world, this podcast, your businesses, your music. I've had the privilege and pleasure of knowing you for damn near all of your life. Coaching you in basketball and seeing you take on the world the way that you have and follow your dreams. And I'm just excited that you're giving me the opportunity to speak with you and with your audience of young people that are your followers. And I'm excited to be able to talk about what we do. So What If Foundation is basically started 20 years ago when a lady from Berkeley traveled to Haiti on a mission trip to help serve people in Haiti. She met a gentleman there, Father Gerard John Just, who is kind of like, he's known as like the Martin Luther King of Haiti. The guy was a social justice activist.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Catholic priest. He took care of the neediest people in Haiti, and he fought for justice. And so one of the very almost a throwaway comment that he made to her one time is how his heart would break when the kids would come up to him anytime he was walking through the community and they'd say, "Father, I'm hungry," and he didn't have anything to feed them. And so he said, my dream is to be able to feed the kids and then keep them alive. And then once we've done that, to educate them. And so that's what Margaret came back here to do. She came back to the States and she launched the What If Foundation. And her whole thing is, what if we could help them? And that was the reason that the foundation was named what it was. And for 20 years, we've fed over 5 million meals in Haiti, which is, for those that understand the history of that country and where we are in its politics and economics today, it's the poorest country in our hemisphere. It has the greatest amount of poverty. People live there at less than $2.50 a day.
That's crazy.
There's a high illiteracy rate, so it's a really
What about how's the criminal activity there? Is it
It's
high?
so bad. It's so bad right now because the government is not in control of much. There's a lot of corruption in the government, which is why they're trying to do some new elections out there. And when that happens, the gangs just took over. And I mean, if you take a look at some of the photos coming out of Haiti, there's burned cars all over the freeway. They murdered the president of the Haitian Bar Association. They burned
what?
Yeah, the president of the Haitian Bar Association, the top constitutional attorney in Haiti, they killed him. They burned down the community where he lived. It's just, it's tough right now.
Okay. How often do you go down there?
Well, because of COVID and because of the violence right now, I haven't been able to get there since I started with the company back in April. Every time I've made travel plans to go, they've been changed. So right now, what we do is I'm planning a trip to Miami because our guy who's on the ground there, the grassroots organizer of the group that we support, he can fly out and back. But yeah, it's been tough.
Yeah, but so you started in April, you said?
Started in April of this year. Yep.
Okay. And what were you doing before? Let the audience know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because, as you know, I spent most of my life in California and working on grassroots stuff in California, trying to help with everything from youth development and crime and violence prevention and housing issues and so forth. And I had moved out to Idaho. There was some family stuff going on out here. And so I moved out to Idaho and I took on the second largest food pantry in the state of Idaho. And we served 12,000 families a year here. I ran a soup kitchen where we served 55,000 meals a year. And I was doing that and wasn't looking to make any changes and this was just before COVID hit. A friend of mine in California saw this job announcement for the What If Foundation. They were looking for a new executive director. He said, look, this is you, man. This is the perfect job for you. These are your people. It is what you've been wanting to do, is have an impact in a community that has a greater need than you've ever served. He said, you need to apply. And that's how I wound up there.
So someone brought this job to you?
Right? They sure did. Yeah.
Convenient.
Convenient, right?
Right. Yeah, but I do remember you doing the food stuff out in Idaho, and we talked about that briefly. But that transition is kind of very similar to this, you know. I mean, you've always been helping people since I've known you. So
and like, you know, my thing has always been about young people and education.
Young people, and,
yeah. You know,
definitely. So. Yeah, I've learned a lot of my morals and values from you, I'd say. So
I appreciate you for that.
yeah, definitely.
Sometimes they were hard lessons.
Yeah, no, definitely baseline. That's really cool. That's really cool. So I guess we kind of got the gist of how you got involved. Someone brought the job to you. You've been there since April. When do you kind of plan on like going to Haiti? When do you think things will open up for you?
Dude, as soon I have got an open-ended ticket, literally as soon as COVID is a little less crazy and the violence is a little less crazy, I'm on my way.
So when you get down there, what exactly do you do as executive director?
My thing as executive director here in the States, my only job is to raise awareness for people to know what's going on down there, and to raise the funds that I need to send to the grassroots folks down in Haiti that are running the school. So we built a Father Jerry school, which the capacity is 400 students. And then we're the grassroots organization is called N'Arrive. It's a bunch of Haitians that run the program. And see, the whole thing that I loved about the model is the fact that it wasn't a bunch of folks from the States going down to Haiti and say, here's how you solve problems. Yeah. It was saying, hey, you guys, you're Haitians, you know what the issues are, you know what the challenges are, you've got the resources, the assets, the intelligence to figure this stuff out. You tell us what you need and we'll get that to you. And so for us, my main job is raising awareness and raising funds so that we can support N'Arrive down in Port-au-Prince so that they can run the school and they can feed the people.
Okay. What, so how are you marketing? Because, you know, how are you getting this out there in front of people? That's very important.
You nailed that, man, because in a time of COVID, it's almost impossible for me to physically get out and do the things that I would normally do in normal times. I'd go speak to groups. I'd go, visit churches. I would talk to Rotary groups. I would make presentations. There'd be a whole lot of in-person conversation where I'm able to do some back and forth. People could ask questions. I could do, video presentations, all of that stuff.
Shows you how much the world relies on the internet now.
It does. And
you got to get hip to it.
Man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Well, and the reality is, podcasts like what you do, where you're putting stuff out there for people to help, provide education around what's happening in the world, to give them an avenue to discuss things that are going on in their businesses and in their lives. It's so important. And for me, there's a lot of young people. You have a good following, and there's a lot of young people that I know, if they were aware of what's happening in Haiti, they would want to get involved in some way. So my thing is, how do I get in front of those people? What do I do to be able to talk to them and have them, conversate back with me? And so this podcast is a good example of COVID marketing, if you will.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was gonna say, like, I don't know, there's a lot of documentaries on Netflix that have been dropping recently, and like they're super pointed to like an issue, right? So I was thinking like something that would be great for you guys, if you, not a documentary on Netflix, obviously that costs millions of dollars and stuff, but if you guys did like a short video, like in Haiti, obviously you need to be in the trenches out there, but in Haiti, just something like a 5 to 10 minute video that's almost your presentation, to where you don't even have to talk at times. You just say, hi, my name is Dave. Watch this video. Let me know what you think. You know what I mean? That way that video is doing all the work, and you could throw it on YouTube, and all you're paying is the stuff for the promotion. So like all the ads and stuff, because right now Facebook and YouTube, they rule the world with advertising. So it's
Dude,
not
I need to hire you, man. No, for real. That's you
like,
nailed it. And that's one of the biggest reasons when you ask me about what do I do personally when I go down to Haiti, I don't actually do the work in Haiti. So when I'm taking my
yeah,
trip down there, one of the things I'm doing is I'm taking some resources with me. I'm going to be taking a camera, a videographer. I'm going to be
yeah,
taking sound,
super
because
important.
for that reason, I want to be able to capture on video because I know how powerful that is when you can tell a story and the people themselves are telling the story. When you're able to do an
Yeah,
interview with a kid where the school has literally saved their life, that's more powerful than anything that I can say. It's more powerful than anything I can write on our website or anything. So that video, that's one piece of why I want to make the visit down there. And then the other piece is I really want to make that connection with the people that we serve so that they get to see a face. I'm the first African-American director of the What If Foundation in its history. And we also now have a board that has 3 members on it that are from Haiti. They live here in the States, but they're Haitians. And, so I want them to see the face of the people that are back here doing the work to help make sure that they've got what they need.
that's really cool. Who are the people that live in Haiti that are on the board?
So I have Wadner Pierre,
Okay,
and
yeah.
he lives in Boston. He's actually a graduate of the What If Foundation program. So he grew
Okay.
up in Haiti. He ate food at the program. He went to school on scholarships that we provided, and he's now the CEO of a company in Boston. So that's just an awesome success story.
Okay.
There's Sophis, who is based in San Francisco, and he is an IT director for the city and county of San Francisco.
Oh
And
wow.
he grew up in Haiti. And then our board chair, Catherine Lelong, she is also from Haiti. She's Haitian. She's not from Haiti, but she's part Haitian. So
Mm. Okay, okay, yeah, I
having
see.
having those Haitian voices is real crucial.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, man, like I got so many ideas you could like do. Like, I don't know. I love marketing, so obviously.
Yeah,
But
you're good at it.
I love marketing and I love networking, and just talking to people. And I think that's super important to like let the people who listen to this podcast know that you have to get yourself out there in order to be heard, right?
It's one of the
So
things I love about what you're doing. You're educating people on that very thing.
yeah, you can't just sit back and say it's gonna come to me or something. You got to put yourself in those positions for it to come to you. Like I think some of the best times I have like going down to LA is not partying, right? It's me putting myself in a coffee shop where I know someone important is gonna walk into that coffee shop, and then I could strike up a conversation, and it just happens from there. Like,
See,
or any place I go.
I might be a little bit biased about this, but I actually think that your career as a point guard in basketball has an awful lot to do with that mentality. You can't, as a leader on the team, you can't sit back and wait for something to happen. You got to go out and make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think
Or you
that
got to put the pieces into place so that it can happen naturally,
that's it.
which is like the playboard. But yeah,
That's it. That's
we
it.
can do a lot of basketball metaphors on this podcast. But yeah, no, I really try and preach that, especially to like if there's young people listening, people in like middle school or high school listening. I think that's super important for them to know as well. But yeah, or those
Yeah,
people stuck in analysis paralysis that
there it is.
always just get stuck listening to things or like I'm gonna do it when I get my next paycheck or hop on this opportunity or stuff like that. But
Yep. No,
yeah,
that's what I love about this podcast that you're doing because I think it's providing a pretty important service,
I
getting that
know.
kind of information out there. Yeah.
I gotta, hey, like I said, I gotta grow it too. So I gotta come up with ways to grow it. Obviously, financial stability is one that we need to grow the podcast, but there's cheap ways out there. Like you said, it's hard right now because I like being able to meet people. So like
Right.
going to college campuses, that would be great right now, but obviously we can't do that. And just have like a podcast there, but it'll
Well,
come.
you could go there, but probably wouldn't be anybody there.
Nah, yeah, true. Also, we just started this podcast literally the first month of COVID. So
No
or a
way.
month before COVID. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're not even that deep into it. But
Wow.
yeah. Anyways, let's get back to Haiti. I want to talk about you brought up a quote from Father. How do you pronounce his name?
We call him Father Jerry. His name was Gerard John Jus, but he was known lovingly in the community as Father Jerry.
Okay, yeah, Father Jerry. He said something. I want to give these. This is not the right quote, but I want to give these kids food that way they can live and then educate them. So, besides the food, how are you guys helping educate the Haiti kids? Like, what steps are you guys taking?
So 20 years ago, when we first started, it was all about the food first, because that was his thing. Feed the kids first. But then we started doing a scholarship program. So in Haiti, there's almost no public school system to speak of. If you want your child to get an education, which is why one of the reasons why there's so much illiteracy, the high rate of illiteracy in that country, is if you want your kids to go to school, you have to send them to a private school. A lot of the schools in Haiti are like, Catholic or, parochial schools, and you've got to come up with a way to find the money to send them.
They have private schools in Haiti?
They do. That's pretty much the only way you can educate kids.
I did not know that. I did not. You just said they live on $2 a day. How can you afford private school? Dude, and why? What system makes that? Like, all right, that's a whole other topic.
The fact that you sitting there and you have, I'm seeing that. My mind is blown. Expression on your face. You nailed it. Haiti has a lot of problems in its history that have led to why there's no public education system. It's led to why their economy has so many different challenges to it. A lot of what happened in Haiti's history had nothing to do with the Haitians. It had to do with countries outside of Haiti wanting to exploit Haiti for all of their natural resources and for their people. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole nother story. But yeah, in Haiti, the way to get an education is private schools. And so some of the private schools they're run by churches, and the churches will pay for as much of the education as they can, but then the parents have to scrape up something. Damn. And so we first started with scholarships, and then had the dream of building the Father Jerry School. And so in 2016, we opened the doors of the Father Jerry School. It's a 3-story building with a cafeteria, with classrooms, and it houses 400 students. And so it's amazing. Last year was the first graduation year of the first graduating class of kids. And so this year, coming up shortly, will be the second graduating class. And so that's the education component. That plus the fact that Narive, the grassroots group that really runs everything there, they do an after-school program. Mm-hmm. They do a summer camp program, and what they're trying to do there is provide a lot. What you're trying to do with this podcast, education around economic empowerment. Okay, we don't want you to just graduate high school, but we want you to be able to earn a living for yourself. We want you to be able to become an entrepreneur, start a small business, be able to feed your family on your own. And so a lot of the education is not just the quality of the classroom stuff that they get. And by the way, which is pretty awesome. I think we're at about a 98% pass rate on the state exams out there.
Oh, Jesus.
So they're doing really good in the classroom. But it's the stuff that they do after class. It's the after school program and the summer programs where they're teaching entrepreneurship, they're teaching civic engagement, and how to help make Haiti a better country, how to take care of yourself and start your own business, those types of things.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that. That's really cool. So how I mean, now obviously now times are definitely rough. How are they dealing with COVID out there? How are they in the classrooms? I would imagine, did they have a chance when the pandemic started that they did Zoom? Like,
no, see, when I speak to the people that are running the programs there, I actually do it on Skype, which shows up on their cell phones. So the pretty much the only thing that is fairly consistent in Haiti is their cellular grid. Even that goes down from time to time. Yeah, their electrical grid is inconsistent, and so sometimes I can't speak to the director of the programs there because his cell phone or his laptop has lost its charge, and he doesn't have juice to recharge his stuff.
I was gonna ask about like electricity there. How is that? Are you able to? Is it easy to find an outlet? And the Wi-Fi, if they were able to do Skype and Zoom for class, like, are they?
It's really unstable. I mean, I've been fortunate that I've been able to Skype with him on a pretty consistent basis, but there have been times when I've been on a call with him and the call has dropped and we can't pick it back up. There have been times, 2, 3, 4 days in a row where I don't hear from him, and I'm sitting here worried about, okay, violence happened or something, what's going on down there. And when we do reconnect, it's, well, the electrical grid went down and all of my stuff didn't have a charge and I couldn't recharge it. So it's spotty. We have a generator at the school to keep things going when that happens, but it's not a large enough generator. One of the things that I'm working on right now is raising funds to get a larger generator in there so that there's more consistent, stable electricity at the school. But yeah, it's a challenge.
Do you guys like go out and search for people to donate generators, or how do you guys,
Yeah, a bunch of different ways. I'm trying to raise money for that at the same time as I'm reaching out to corporations, the companies that build the generators,
that's smart.
And
smart,
I'm saying, hey, here's what we do there. I know normally you like to sell that stuff to us, but what about, a corporate write-off? What about a donation? That type of thing. Yeah.
Get some taxes back on that, or at least the worst, give us the wholesale price.
There you go.
Give us a little chump change that costs to make it, but that's cool. So let's touch on how the classroom setting is with COVID going on. I saw you post some pictures with them 6 feet apart. I mean, we can't even get it together. How are they getting it together?
I'm telling you, I was blown away. But seriously, these people were so dedicated to getting the kids back in school and to keep their education on track. They found a way. And that's been my motto my whole life, is find a way.
Yeah.
They found a way to make it happen. And what they did is they spaced the desks 6 feet apart. And then the hallways outside the classrooms, and remember, it's a 3-story building. They set desks in the hallways, and so they were running desks outside in the hallways. They spaced desks out in the cafeteria. Normally, we feed the kids at lunch. They eat a lot of times. The meal that they get at school, it's a hot meal every day at lunch. That's the only meal these kids get in a day. And normally we sit everybody in the cafeteria, but it's too crowded to do that with COVID. So what we've done is the volunteers, and I should say we, it's not us, it's the group that runs this organization. They're all Haitians. What they did is they took the lunches from the cafeteria and delivered them up to the classrooms so that they could stay socially distanced.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they did everything they had to make sure they keep the kids safe, the teachers safe, and still kept the education going. And it was pretty impressive. It's pretty inspiring, actually.
Do they have the little kids wear a mask or no?
They do. All the way down from kindergarten up. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. The kindergartners keep it on, huh? We can't even get it together here.
I will tell you, they have told me they're having when the kids arrive at school, they have to wear the mask. They said, but once they get there, sometimes it's kind of hard for them to keep them on.
I feel Wow. Yeah, they need to come out here and help us then, because we have our niece that lives with us, and man, I am tired of helping with these Zoom stuffs. It's hard. I respect teachers a lot more. Like, I cannot do it. I do not have the patience. So
that's what inspires me about the people that are. So the teachers, when COVID was at its worst and everything was on lockdown and the school was actually closed, they actually set up a schedule in the school office where the kids or the parents would come to the school office on a set schedule to pick up a homework packet, take it home, and then they had another set schedule to bring it back. That way it wasn't a crowded office. Everybody was spaced out.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, what the teachers would do is they'd make home visits. So they would go to the homes of the kids and they would say, what do you need help with?
What?
Yeah. They're so dedicated.
We don't even have teachers like that here.
Oh man. Yeah.
I love our teachers here. Damn, that's just crazy. Like we haven't had a home visit. We haven't even gone to the office here. We're just like doing drive-bys in the car. Pick up your packet, drive by. That's it. And then everything is through Zoom. And it's just like, it's hard. They need to get a raise after this pandemic.
I'm telling you. Well, and as you can imagine, in Haiti, not a lot of the families, not a lot of the kids have smartphones. Not a lot of them have Zoom. Not a lot of, they're literally one of the things. If you go on YouTube and look it up, you'll see dirt cookies in Haiti. If you look that up, they literally, there's a natural clay there that has some little bit of nutrients in it, and they mix water and bake it out in the sun. And the kids, one of the things that they eat are these clay dirt cookies.
I'm looking it up
Um,
right now. That sounds crazy. I love
and
cookies. Don't. Oh
and
wow.
so, when you're looking at that and you figure out, you don't have the ability to send a whole bunch of text messages to kids or to have them come on Zoom to do a lesson. These teachers were so dedicated. They said, we're not going to let that stop us. So they did home visits.
Wait, they're like these. They eat these. They're like pancakes.
That's what they are. Yep. Made
And
out of dirt.
are they, like they're. I mean, so are they healthy?
They're not unhealthy. If you eat one, you feel full, and it's
Oh.
not going to make you sick.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, that's crazy. Where? How do you Clay? Who? How do you even find this out? Like the person that found this out is just crazy. That's smart.
Right.
Wow, super cool. Okay, cool, cool. So can you let the people know how to get involved with What If?
I'm especially interested in young people knowing more about it. So one of the things I just hope the folks that listen to your podcast do is they go to our website, www.whatiffoundation.org. There's two F's in the middle of that, whatiffoundation.org, and just learn more about what's going on in Haiti, learn more about what we're doing, and educate yourself so that, as things come up, you're aware of what's going on. And then secondly is, boy, I tell you, the need is always going to be for funds, because we have to keep the dollars flowing in order to keep the school open, in order to keep the meal program going, because we don't just feed the children lunch at school. Every single day of the week, we feed the community as well. So there's people lined up at the gates of the school every single day to get a plate of food. And I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 800 people every day getting food at the Father Jerry School. And so funding is huge. And I know one of the things that really excited me about what I saw in this recent election is that the young people coming out, that 18 to 35-year-old group is starting to understand we
Their
have
impact.
power.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have
their
power.
impact. Yeah.
And I, the folks that listen to your podcast, I know they have the ability to make a difference. We've got some people that are making $5 a month donation on a regular basis. That's all they can afford. But every month, it's automatically coming out of their bank account, $5. That makes a huge, huge difference in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to do a meal in Haiti for about 63 cents.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That means they feeding a couple people.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you brought up something super important, but people on this podcast need to realize that the youth really do have such an impact on the world and what the world will look like in a decade, 2 decades, down the road. I mean, as we've seen, we went to a Black Lives Matter protest.
We did.
Back in, I don't even know what month it was, but it was in the heart of everything. And we see everyone there. We saw a lot of white people, which we were very surprised, right? But we see a lot of young people, and that was super cool. I mean, the people who held our protest that we went together, they were all hoopers that we played against. I played against. And so they were like family on another level, and to see them organizing something in their hometown, that's super cool. And we just we really supported that and thanked that.
Yeah, no, that was a special day for a whole lot of reasons. For me, seeing the diversity of that crowd, like you said, it was not just African Americans, it was not just Latinos, it wasn't just people of color, it was white folks, it was older people, but by far the biggest number in that crowd was young people. And that was exciting to me. That gave me hope.
And then even on our way back to Berkeley, we see Berkeley gearing up for a protest. And I didn't see one black person. It was not all white people.
Not a single black person.
They were holding up signs that said Black Lives Matter. I was like, where are the black people? So that was really cool to see. And I just want to thank all the white allies for helping us get through this year. For real. But
no doubt.
Yeah, it's been tough. So yeah, okay. I guess since we're talking about politics, we can go ahead and move on to what's been happening lately. But is there anything you want to touch up on the What If Foundation?
Yeah, I
Um,
just appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to share what we do with the folks that listen to you. I appreciate everything that you're doing, first of all, in terms of educating your audience. And please go to our website, go to our social media sites. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on
yeah.
Twitter. Up our follows, help people get the word out when we post something and it hits your heart. Share it with other people.
Hmm.
And for those of your audience that are able to help financially, man, it makes such a huge difference. So please consider giving. And if you have any questions, you can reach me through our website. I'd love to answer people directly. My preference is meeting with people and talking to them face to face, but
Yeah.
I'll call anybody. I'll write an email to anybody.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I definitely suggest people go check out the website. It's super cool. Well, I promise, I vow right now, when I get my real estate license and I get my job, I'm gonna sign up for a monthly donation.
Hey, that's what's up.
um
You can
and
do it even
then
better. Don't even sign up for a monthly one. Every time you sell a house, send us something.
I like that actually. Yeah, yeah,
There you
definitely.
go.
I do that one. Um and then oh, you got to get in touch with like a celebrity or something. Like
No,
some
I thought I was talking to a celebrity.
I mean, someone like yeah, someone like with more money. But you got to get into touch with someone like someone out here like E40 or something, someone who does stuff for the community. E40,
Right, right.
Mr. Fab does tremendous work for the community, and he's super easy to I mean, see. All you gotta do is go to his store. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So,
No doubt. Well, and like, you're talking about that right now. One of the people I really want to get in front of, so anybody that's listening has connects, Steph Curry. Him and his wife have started a foundation called
yeah.
Eat, Learn, Play. It's all about making sure kids have enough to eat, they have enough to learn, and they can play healthy. And
Mm.
they've done some amazing things in Oakland. And they're starting to do some things in San Francisco. I would love for them to be aware of what we're doing in Haiti.
If you could get that, your whole business just went to a whole another
Right.
level.
There it is.
But yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to feelings about the results of the election. That's huge. I mean, you're the first interview
Man.
I've had since after.
Well, you know what? The biggest feeling that I have right now is relief, first of
Uh-huh.
all, that the democratic process worked. The second one is it's tied back to the conversation we had about the Black Lives Matter events that you and I went to, is
Yep.
that there were so many African American, Latinx, young people engaged in this election, not
Yep.
just as voters, but as activists, people wanting to make sure that their voices were heard. And to hear President-elect Biden in his speech the other night
Mm-hmm.
shout out the African American community for putting him where he is, I thought that was huge.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Great speech. They kept talking about how his speech was so impactful. And it was kind of compared to I think it was the Reagan speech.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, that really shook America in a good way. But yeah, I don't know. I feel a sense of relief, but then it's also a bittersweet feeling because it's like it almost feels as if we can never win. Now we have Biden as our president elect, but now we have a lot of white people out there that are either gonna come out, you know, guns blazing and just ready to riot, or they're either gonna go back into their shell and start planning again.
There were 70 million Americans, and we have to recognize this. Even though Biden he's on his way right now, I think, to 5 million more votes than Trump got. But there were 70 million Americans who decided that they wanted to give Trump another term.
Which is ridiculous. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
That's
And
a lot.
so
That's
so we
scary.
we have to recognize that that's real and that our country is seriously divided. And one of
Seriously.
the things that I love about everything that Biden and Kamala Harris have said since they've been announced as the winners, it's all about, it's time to heal. It's time for us to move forward. It's time for us to come together as a country. That's the message that they're pushing out there. the message that I'm hearing at the same time from the people that help put them in that position is we have to keep doing what we did. We have to keep organizing. We have to keep the grassroots movements going. We have to keep holding people's feet to the fire. If you're elected to represent us, I don't care what party you belong to, you're here to represent us.
Yeah, that's
And
the thing. I don't care about the parties either. I don't care
yeah.
red, blue. It's always got to be red, blue. No, I think it's just like it's got to be us. And that's what a lot of these people don't understand. Like even listening to this there's like 4 people on CNN, even listening to CNN talk about the presidential election. You know, they have some Democrats on the stage and they have some Republicans. Hearing the Republicans kind of like hate what Trump is doing and kind of going about it, but still stick to their Republican like values. That I'm like, yo, just we have to like come together. There should not be a Democratic and a Republican. Like it
goes back to Obama's speech before he was even elected to the Senate. He was an Illinois senator at the 2004, I think it was, Democratic convention. And he got up there and said, there isn't a red America, there isn't a blue America, there's a United States of America. And he talked about, that's kind of the speech that catapulted him to national fame. He talked about the fact that, look, the sooner we recognize that we are all in this together, the better off we're going to be. So put all that other crap, put all that other BS to the side. I hope Biden keeps pushing this message of unity. And I hope more importantly, that the communities that put him in position to be successful, keep the fires lit and hold him accountable to make sure that this new administration is taking care of the needs of the people.
True. And also speaking of like all of this, I think we need to get rid of the electoral college. Like, I think it's such bullshit. And I didn't realize how much it was. I mean, I feel we only ever learn about it or refresh our memory every 4 years, right? So it's something that's like in our head only in October, November. But then as soon as, you know, we get what we want, we forget about it. But I was reading and there have been thousands of like, I guess, petitions to get rid of it, but they've all been denied, which is ridiculous because like I couldn't imagine like if Trump would have won just off electoral college again for the second term. Like that would show how crooked it is. I mean, I was reading articles about when Trump actually won and Hillary had killed him by like 3 million votes in popular votes, but he won off electoral college. It's and reading. Can you hear me? It's kind of okay. It's kind of lagging on my end, but just kind of reading about the history of the electoral college. It was built to kind of help the Black people down in the South, because down in the South you didn't have that many that big of a population versus, you know, California or the West Coast. So it was like built to
actually is a little bit to the reverse of that. The whole reason for the electoral college in the first place, it was to protect slaveholding states and to keep them to keep their power
the same,
equal,
right?
Yes. And so what's wound up happening, the electoral college is a remnant of slavery in this country, and we've never really truly addressed the whole issue of the heritage of slavery in this country. We made some progress during the civil rights movement, but one of the things that is a result of the electoral college, Montana is a state not too far from here, it's just across the border, has a population of less than 1 million. So that's like 850,000 people that live there. They have their votes count when you compare them up against California, which has like 33 million people. Their votes count like 6 to 8 times as much as a California vote. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Like, and that's why the presidents always go to those, you know, Virginias and places like that to really do their campaign. I think it's bullshit, but I think we need to get rid of it.
Well, that's the next grassroots movement then.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, you're in Idaho. What did they become blue or red?
No,
Laura?
no, so I have a couple of friends out here who ran for office, and they did really, really well. But the problem that they ran up against was this is a really, really red state, and so many Republicans were motivated to come out and vote for Trump,
Uh-huh.
who normally probably would have stayed at home and watched everything from their couches. They came out and voted. So what wound up happening is because of that huge turnout, we didn't get a chance to get as many votes for my friends as they wanted, and so they wound up losing their office. But their bid for it, not their office, they were trying to earn office.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them was in office. But no, we're still a red state here, and it's interesting because there's some parts of the state up north especially that there's some really, really right-wing extremists who have gotten violent at times. And actually, there was a candidate up north Idaho that was running for state office that actually had to get state police protection and stop going out on the campaign trail because of threats to her life.
That's
So
crazy.
it's crazy.
Yeah, we have some family friends that live out there, and they live like just a couple miles from where the like I guess KKK is. Like,
Yep, that's up north. That's up
yeah,
north. Yeah.
literally right where their like headquarters is. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, like,
Well, and
that's just
I don't want people to get the wrong picture either. I love Idaho. It's a beautiful state.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I heard Montana was very beautiful
oh,
too. Like
it is
very,
so nice out here. I live
yeah, yeah.
an hour away from the Grand Tetons and
Hmm.
Teton National Park, and I don't care if you want to go out and enjoy skiing or snowmobiling or
Yeah.
anything outdoors. It's one of the most beautiful state. The people here are you know, we're in my area where I'm at are some of the friendliest people in the world. It's really nice, but there are pockets out here where it's not so nice.
But you see, the crazy thing about 2020 is we learned that there are even pockets out here in the Bay Area that are like
There it
that,
is.
that
There
I
it
never
is.
even knew. So I'm glad
Right.
you brought that up, but there's just pockets everywhere. 71 million people. I mean, they're not all in Idaho and Montana. They're
That's right.
everywhere.
That's right.
So that's some things we learned this year. Like I didn't even know how racist California was really, to be honest, until this year. I mean, just the other day, literally, this is freaking breaking news. This was like 2 days ago. In Brentwood, California, there was a Trump supporter that had a house out there and had like all American flags, Trump flags, and then had a mannequin and hung the mannequin
Wow.
lynching from the neck, and then put like a face on it and put Sleepy Joe. And the guy is supposedly like a known racist on the block, and he does these acts,
Wow.
but the neighbors just never thought he would go this far, and the cops
Wow.
like made him take it down, but aren't charging him against anything because it's a freedom of speech under the amendment, but that's kind of like an aggressive speech.
Wow.
Yeah,
And that's
so
right there in California.
that's in
In the
Brentwood. I
Bay
mean,
Area.
Brentwood's like probably definitely not as diverse as like Oakland or something, but
Right.
Brentwood though, come on, like that's crazy.
Right.
But yeah, no, I definitely am feeling a lot better now that we know kind of what's gonna happen. But then
Yeah.
I'm also a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie, you know.
Yeah.
I have a family now, so it's just kind of scary walking out every day not knowing what's gonna happen or what you're gonna see. As opposed to I don't know. It's just
No,
kind of nerve
it's
wracking.
you know, and I understand that too. I watch some of the stuff that you put on your social media page with your son, and I love the fact that you're such a great dad and you have such a good time raising your son. But yeah, you have every reason to be concerned, and that's one of the reasons why keeping involved. I'm really hoping that the young people, the folks of color who got engaged in this election and helped change the tone of things here in this country,
Mm-hmm.
stay involved and don't just look at voting as kind of like this spectator sport that you show up to once every 4 years, but they see now that we've got the people that we support in office. Let's make sure that they take care of us. Let's not just stop. Let's call our Congress people. Let's write them emails.
Definitely.
Let's make sure that Kamala and Joe understand there's a reason you're where you're at. Pay attention to us.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap up soon. I just want to mention that it's also super important to not just vote for the president, but everyone underneath him. Like, I really took the time to research everyone on the ballot that I was
Perfect.
voting for. Like the people in Benicia, you know, I live in Benicia now. It's my community. You have to protect your community. So when they give this look, they're on the ballots and stuff, they give like the little paragraphs of who they are and stuff. No, I like went and Googled to see who these people actually are. What do they look
Perfect.
like? You know what I mean?
Yes.
What's their history? And try and get those people that you support into office, in the mini offices, you know, because that person that's Benicia City Council can one day become state senate and then one day become the president.
There it is.
You know,
Yep.
so
Yep.
it's super important on taking care of the people that are below, because you never know what may happen.
I love
Um,
what you just said.
yeah, definitely.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, anything else you want to, mention before we wrap up?
I'm good. I just keep doing what you're doing in every area of your life. You're doing some really exciting things. Good luck with your upcoming real estate. I hope that blows up like mad. I love the fact that you're like a serial entrepreneur. You don't let one thing. You just keep going.
Yeah, you got to.
And blessings to you and your family, man.
I appreciate it. Go ahead and shout out the social media for the What If
Absolutely.
organization.
On Instagram, it's What If Foundation, Twitter, same, and Facebook. And then you can find the links to all of that on our website. At the very bottom of our page, we got the links to all of our social media sites, and the website is whatiffoundation.org.
Sounds good. And then I just thought of something. I'm gonna send you a videographer that I know in the Bay Area that makes really, really cool videos. If you mention my name, she might be able to hook you up with something.
Perfect.
But super really good. You could do like a really quick video for the What If Foundation.
I love it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. We are the Misguided Podcast, where we intend to guide you to a better future. My name is Juwan Rohan, and I'm sitting here with Dave Manson, aka Coach.
All right, Juwan.
We'll speak to you guys later. All right.
Thank you.